उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत Sanjay?
Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, then assembled at the holy field of Kurukshetra, eager to fight or battle, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Sanjay was the son of a man named Gavalgan. Sanjay's father Gavalgan was also the charioteer and advisor to King Dhritarashtra in the Mahabharata epic. Sanjay was a wise and noble person who possessed great knowledge and followed the path of righteousness, much like the sages and saints. He also served as the trusted minister and advisor of King Dhritarashtra in the Mahabharata. The land of Kurukshetra was considered very sacred because long ago many gods performed holy rituals and sacrifices there. King Kuru also did deep meditation and penance on that land. Because so many spiritual and righteous activities happened there, the place became filled with divine and holy energy. That is why Kurukshetra is called Dharmakshetra, meaning the field of Dharma, that is righteousness and truth. It was not just an ordinary battlefield, but a spiritually powerful place connected with truth, duty and righteousness. By using the words Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra is referring to Kurukshetra as the sacred land of the Kuru dynasty. It was not seen as just a normal battlefield. People believed it was a holy place where good and righteous actions could bring blessings, spiritual growth, and success in life. Because the land was considered so sacred, wise and noble people chose it for the Great War, believing that it would bring not only worldly results like mundane benefits, but also spiritual and divine benefits like ultra-mundane benefits. In short, Kurukshetra was both a battlefield for the war and a holy pilgrimage place connected with dharma, spirituality and blessings. In the world, many conflicts and fights usually happen because of three main things: land, wealth and women. Among these, kings mostly fight over land and kingdoms. That is why the word Kurukshetra is important here, because it refers to the land belonging to the Kuru dynasty. Both the Kauravas, sons of Dhritarashtra, and the Pandavas, sons of Pandu, were part of the same Kuru family. So both sides had an equal right to the kingdom and land. However, the Kauravas refused to give the Pandavas their rightful share of the land. Because of this injustice and conflict, war eventually becomes unavoidable. The name Kurukshetra is fair because the land belonged to both the Kauravas and the Pandavas, who were members of the same Kuru family. So both sides had a rightful claim to it. However, Indian culture places great importance on dharma, that is, righteousness and moral duty. Because of this, even a terrible event like a war was fought on a holy and sacred land rather than an ordinary place. People believed that fighting on such a sacred land would help the warriors act according to their duty and, if they died in battle, attain spiritual merit or salvation, that is, moksha. That is why the battlefield is called not only Kurukshetra, which is the land of the Kurus, but also Dharmakshetra, that is, the field of righteousness. The word Dharmakshetra emphasizes the sacred and spiritual nature of the place. The author points out an interesting symbolic idea about the Bhagavad Gita. In the first verse of the first chapter, the first word of the Bhagavad Gita is Dharma, which is righteousness. In the last verse of the 18th chapter, the last word of the Bhagavad Gita is Mama, which means mine. If we take dhar from dharm and ma from mama, we get the word dharma. This is used to show that the entire message of the Bhagavad Gita is centered on dharma, living a righteous and dutiful life. This means that when a person follows the teachings of the Gita, they walk the path of dharma. When a person performs their duties honestly, selflessly, and according to dharma, they are putting the Gita's teachings into practice. So, the main message of the Gita is that we should live our lives with righteousness, duty, truth, and moral responsibility, which together form the path of dharma. So, the words Dharmakṣetre Kurukṣetre teach us an important lesson. Every action in life should be guided by dharma, which is righteousness, truth, and moral duty. This means that we should not act only for our own selfish benefit. Our actions should also consider the well-being of others and the welfare of society. Before deciding what is right or wrong, we should rely on the guidance of sacred scriptures and moral principles. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 24, teaches that scriptural wisdom should help us determine what we should do and what we should avoid doing. In short, the message is, live and act according to dharma. Perform your duties honestly and selflessly. Think about the good of everyone and let righteous principles guide your decisions. In everyday life, this means when you make decisions, whether at work, home, or in society, choose the path that's honest and fair. Think about how it helps others and follow your conscience and wisdom rather than just personal desires. It's about being a responsible citizen who contributes to collective well-being rather than just personal advancement.